Hello everybody and welcome to the first game of Week 2 DBDLeague Season 7. We are going to start off with LeMagic we're going to start off with LeMagic on the Oni on Father Campbell's Chapel for Team Reverse here against the survivors of Team Dawn, who have already been spotted very early on here. Gonna see our David and Shay Semi, who gets the pellet stun right from the get-go, but the killer is going to abandon them immediately and head straight to main building. Oni is more of the type of killer that is going to keep going back and forth, playing ping pong with the survivors, trying to get an early hit relatively free if a survivor gets spotted out in the open. But of course, LeMagic is going to should struggle at least a bit here, as this is so far at the start of the game only an M1 killer with no special ability. LeMagic now taking care of the breakable walls within main building to reduce the amount of infinites that this map provides the survivors with. We're already going to see two chase perks here as well, Brutal Strength and Bamboozle, which are going to significantly help out LeMagic here in his search to get the first hit onto our survivors.
Yeah, and we see moving back into the circuits here, and this is going to be, as you had mentioned, kind of where the Oni typically tends to struggle. Right here in the early game, we see some very early pallet throws. Part of the reason we're going to be seeing that Brutal Strength coming out, able to get the hit though at the window. That's going to be very big, because of course now going to be getting more progress here towards being able to use that power. Also going to be moving, still actually staying here at the 4 lane, an early throw of the pallet, trying to make a mind game here, trying to see if we can make it play. There should be enough blood orbs though. Oh, because of the double vault, also able to get the down. So you have yourself a hook, and you have enough blood orbs after this hook to have your power ready to go. This is huge.
A beautiful double back right as that corrupted intervention runs out as well. We see that main building generator very close to completion, and survivors footsteps right next to the hooky, I believe. Yeah, we had our survivors leaving that main building generator as soon as possible, as we have our killer LeMagic very close to hitting Blood Fury. We should get the ability done as soon as that Unhook comes through, because that is going to donate LeMagic another couple of blood orbs, which should suffice for that ability to be procced. But LeMagic getting a hook with the default, with the basic M1 start that the Oni has right at 5 generators remaining is going to be huge, as this survivor can be secured relatively nicely into a second stage, or maybe even deathier, as LeMagic has the threat of that ability cocked and ready. So as soon as a survivor comes in for the rescue, this might either end up with a 1-man slug and the survivor remaining on hook, or 2-man slug right after if the unhook does end up being successful. Forgiven is going to hit the struggle phase relatively soon, as we see our survivors popping that second gen here. That ability is going to get popped now, securing Forgiven to hit second stage, which is going to happen very, very soon now. And our chase is going to continue on to towering. No, a nice fake here by LeMagic. We'll be able to catch the David off guard here, and that's going to be the down right next to the unhook. Semi goes down as our survivor on hook takes the second stage as well. And we have our survivor tower here out in the open on the TL wall. Also extremely in a lot of threat, posing a big threat here, LeMagic. Already having so much pressure right from the get-go. Forgiven still on the hook, Semi still on this, Semi still on the floor. So we're gonna see what happens with Taoya very soon.
Yeah, this is going to be tough here. I mean, especially now we're going to be getting the snag out of the locker. Does at least allow for the save off of the hook. Should also allow for us to get our slug off of the ground as well. Yeah, there it is going to be right there. So essentially you're trading 1 for 2, and you'll take that there as far as the trade. Unfortunately, going to be seeing that spectator bug onto our killer. So we're going to be taking a look around. Also worth mentioning, and it is worth noting here, chat, we do also have the bug on our Megan as far as the hook counter. They did get progressed into a second stage, so they will be able to be removed from the trial as soon as they're spotted here. And it does look like that might be actually who our killer's trying to locate down here. We do hear instead though actually taking the chase with the David. Gonna be a swing and the miss, not gonna be able to make connection here. That's gonna be big. But of course, every time we vault this pallet here, you'll see we've got all these blood orbs. That means if LeMagic gets the down or not, should have our power ready to go. And we saw how much pressure LeMagic was able to build up with the last use of that power.
Our survivors having a phenomenal recovery here. We do see Sam go down, but just a quick recap here. About 1 minute ago, we had 2 survivors slugged and another on the hook here. So with a very fine recovery from Team Dawn, they will be able to loosen up that pressure that Lemagic has exerted so early on. And also our Meg here Forgiven, just with the very, very annoying hook counter bug here, where you don't see the second stage hitting anymore. But of course, as Kiori mentioned, that survivor is dead on hook. So Lemagic so far sitting at, I believe, 4 stages here, with having got 3 individual stages as well. So we only need Korosh, our arena player here, to go down, and that will provide Lemagic with that last remaining no way out stack.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing here, I mean, the only tough thing, you take a look around, I mean, we've got a really good gen setup over here around our hook. Lemagic really doesn't have a reason to leave this quadrant of the map, right? You can kind of just vibe. You don't mind giving up that far gen over there. We've got a second stage that is going to be forced here relatively soon, which does mean you've got 2 survivors at that point. Once the stage is forced, of course, I am kind of talking a little bit of preemptively here. Once that stage is forced, you'll have 2 people on death hook. You'll have 1 person who's already been fresh hooked as well. Right now, our survivors really need to fight back with some gen pressure, but I mean, I just don't know where we're going to see the gens pop. There's at least generator number 3. I feel like we really need a 4th gen right now.
And our survivors are in a scary position with 2 survivors being dead on hook, and Forgiven is going to be the next one who takes chase. This Meg is dead on hook, but will be able to narrowly avoid that first lunge or powered up M1 here on the window. Now Lemagic going into the Demon Dasher once again, tries to find the connection to the Meg, but doesn't get the full M1 or the full ability hit here, and it's only going to be an injure. This could have been the down here, but Lemagic unfortunately letting go of that M1 too soon, and Forgiven is not going to be put into the dying state. Lemagic now forced to go back to main. Pressure, Korosh, our Zarina here off that generator is going to be camping the unsafe pallet. Will he be able to win it? He will, with an unfortunate miss by Lemagic, not gonna connect to the pallet here. Now the down on Korosh would have been so important, as that would have provided Lemagic with the 4th no way out, and also the no way out stack and the fresh hook here. Should have been really important. Now the chase is going to continue on to Sammy, who's the only other survivor beside our Meg Forgiven, who is on death's row. So this down is gonna be important, and it's going to not happen just yet. The last survivor pops with the adrenaline. Sammy will be able to narrow avoid the lunge as well. A beautiful recovery from Team Dawn here in the first Oni set, after having been put in such a difficult position right from the get-go. The no way out gets triggered right away, and that's going to be 12, 34, 36? 48 seconds on the exit gate there with the 3 stacks. So that is now going to be the time that their survivors have to run out. But Lemagic has no blood rush available, and he also doesn't have the know it, as the combination of know it and no way out isn't allowed. You have to pick either or. And this is going to be so difficult, as all our survivors have so many resources left still. Lemagic will be forced to leave the tile here. We'll be using Bamboozle to escape, but we still have 1 injured survivor, but has so many pellets left here. Our survivors of Team Dawn have utilized their resources so well, and they still have so much to go for. So as long as Forgiven doesn't go down, I don't see an ending to this game here where Lemagic gets a single kill.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I mean, the one thing you will notice, we got plenty of blood orbs around here, and of course, if we can at least continue to force Volt, you'll at least have enough for that. I think you might be able to get Megan here, but I think that's best case scenario at this point, and that is, of course, the survivor that does render you the least amount of hook states as well. That's going to be big. Of course, we do hear the door across the way. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's is it the hatch? That's the hatch!
Oh, he gets it! He gets it! A perfectly timed hatch escape. Your all survivors instantaneously left at the exact same time. The hatch spawns as soon as Lemagic commits to the down onto the Mega, giving her a window of opportunity to slip right through. That is so unfortunate and so perfect for Team Dawn, managing to secure a 4-man escape with only, I believe, 5 stages given, with Courage even escaping fresh. That is going to be so difficult here on our Team Reverse's side here. Dawn with, again, as the underdogs, coming in with a beautiful performance right from the get-go.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, you talked about also, too, because of the nice, strong start that our killer had there. I mean, something you got to keep in mind, right? Sometimes the night does look darkest right before the dawn. Dawn really turning things around, having a nice 4 out there. I mean, talking about all the way to the plans of the fact that the person that's in chase at the end is the survivor that yields the least amount of points. So even if they do get down and get put up on the hook, you're giving the least amount of points away. But so much to the point that you get the down, you get the out through the hatch. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, and with a 17-13, with Dawn taking the lead, that is going to conclude the first game here, and we will continue with Team Reverse's Revenge on the Survivor side right after a short break.
All right, let's go ahead and take another trip on back into the fog here on the Father Campbell's Chapel. Currently going to be looking at Dawn up with a score of 17-13 here. So you're up by 4. You're out on the killer side here. We saw already starting to break up that main building here a little bit as well, trying to make sure that you don't have too much strength in that tile. And it does look like, unfortunately, not going to be able to find, not able to find anybody in our corrupt side of the map, but actually instead is able to find our Jill. Instead, Jill just going to be out here gumping it, shift W tech into the circus side of our map, actually able to find someone else too that was working on our generator here. You can hear about 25% on that gen, no ruin or anything like that to help as far as the regression, which I think is one of those situations where it shows, I think, a little bit of aggression or a little bit of confidence in Towie saying, hey, I don't need any help as far as the regression. I just need help as far as with the chase, even getting some help on the brutal strength to remove that pout a little bit quicker. We hear this gen over here, though, also has a lot of pressure. Right now, our survivors pushing out some pressure.
After having put out such a beautiful performance in the last game where we had Dawn on our survivor side here, I'm just oh so much more intrigued as to what our killer player for Team Dawn can put up here. We're already going to see Hubi or DB, I believe, putting up a really nice chase here, utilizing all of these relatively unsafe pallets against the Oni who has access to brutal strength. So it's just going to be oh so much more difficult to play around these pallets here. Our Jill doing a nice little fake here, going to the other side here of the loop, and Towie losing them for a split second, but that is now also, I believe, going to be every single pallet cleared out on this entire circus side. We still have 2 generators relatively close to completion. A very nice faker coming in from the Magic on the survivor who just played Oni and was able to get a 5 status here, but will now be forced to give this first hit here as there are absolutely no resources left on this side of the map here. Was not able to make it any further. Towie, of course, once again with that splinter tool will be able to get so many blood orbs right from that first hit, and will be able to getting very close to getting that first ability here relatively early, as we do only have 1 survivor injured, as in the previous game the Magic was able to put up so much early game pressure with a down and a hook at 5 generators remaining, but lost it throughout the tile here, with Dawn doing phenomenally whilst trying to recover from the amount of pressure that was exerted right from the get-go. But Towie now struggling to find the first down with the ability having been unlocked.
Yeah, this is going to be tough, too, because we've already seen 2 generators pop. We know that the corrupt... Oh, wait, was that a mid-air hit? That probably looks very... Listen, everything's fine. Everything's fine. That is going to be a hit. Not only is that going to be a down, though, that's now also going to be a down in the basement, which could be some big pressure for Towie. Keep in mind that when we talked about how good of a turnaround that Dawn had last time, it was because they had a turnaround on the survivor side. Towie could be looking to do the same thing on the killer side here, but it's going to take some work.
Yeah, about the ping thing, I am, however, fairly certain that this is a German killer against a German survivor, so I'm pretty sure that either looked very bad by game default, or it looked just like, as I said, it was like a slam dunk from the upper floor here. But we do still hear our survivors pushing out that generator in main building while the survivor is chilling in basement. But a very nice coordination here from our survivors. We see one survivor going into the basement while the other remains on that generator, still keeping on the pressure onto Towie's Oni here, only having got 1 stage so far throughout the trial. So if our survivors of Team Reverse do exceptionally exceptionally well, they would be able to get it. And Taui gets FOV tagged by Lamatic, will not be able to get the down here once again in main building, which would have granted Taui another basement hook here. But unfortunately, will not be able to commit, will not be able to secure it. This is looking extremely close here. Taui is being run for quite well by our survivors, who are not allowing him to get a second hook here. This is going to be very close, as Taui also doesn't have access to No Way Out, but instead has the No It available if we do make it to that generator very, very soon. And a very nice locker grab here is gonna wait, this is gonna deny all our killers aspirations here, as we should have all survivors grouping up on one exit gate, finding the 3-man escape, and with this survivor dying on hook, that would only grant our killer the 4 stages. This is gonna be so close. If all our survivors make the escape, then that would be still the win for Team Reverse here after such a phenomenal recovery by Dawn in the previous game.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw what I saw, though. I think we might even actually have another survivor trying to line up for the save and really going big here, because there's going to be 2 survivors over here. Yeah, there it is. It's the Lori moving in here. So we now have 2 survivors. This is going to be big because that also puts the Oni into a decision. You had talked about if our Nancy had been able to be sacrificed there, that still wasn't or not the Nancy, the Jill had been sacrificed, it wouldn't have been enough. But now maybe if you get the Lori, oh man, I don't know. It's a very risky sort of situation looking for the locker. That's wasted time here. I think we might be looking at a 4-out, which means even though with the great start that Dawn had, the pressure has been reversed.
And that is going to be 2 stages in contrast to the 5 stages that Lamatic was able to get. Chapel, a very challenging map here, but Reverse just playing near flawlessly. That just beautiful coordination, especially with that main building generator and the basement save happening at the exact same time, putting so much pressure on Taui that he was not able to keep up, and then also just completely denying any down with that first ability. So Reverse with a beautiful survivor performance and a nice comeback after Lamagic's unfortunate sequence of events in the previous game, which could have very much ended at a 4K 3 generators remain, or 3 or 2 generators remaining as well. But Reverse just overall once again outperforming their opponents here, and they will be able to take the first set. And we will be right back after a short break with our second set, which is going to be the Nurse on Cold Tower. Reverse's pick as well, so this is going to be very tough on our Team Dawn here. Welcome back to now the Cold Tower, the very popular competitive map, very much the favorite of most players. We're going to continue with set 2, the Nurse by Semi here, going for very risky blinks right from the get-go. He's trying to get a hit as early as possible with a very strong build here, but everything available on Cold Tower. It's going to be very difficult on a map this small here. You will be able to snowball pressure so easily, especially after having found 2 survivors so early too. But I'm imagining that all 3 survivors are already on the top. Semi will be able to blink directly onto Pali, baiting out the dead heart, but Semi showing beautiful patience will be able to get the first down straight through the dead heart. But we do have to take into consideration, if Sem does try to tunnel out this specific survivor, then Semi will have to play around the dead heart every single time. But Sem doing a phenomenal job here, carrying Pali to the upper side of the map here, just getting so much pressure right from the get-go, with no survivors being able or being anywhere near popping a single generator. Just in a beautiful position here, of course, also with that, I believe, 4-gen around main building with a hill right in front. That is also looking the direction, or I think actually in a bit, I wouldn't be able to tell if that's a good direction or a bad direction of the hill facing, but Sam has a very nice vantage point at the start, at the top of the map here, is now going to continue the chase onto DB, who seems to have evaded Sam. No, he's gonna get the down right after. The second stage is gonna come through very soon. DB not making any effort to crawling to that pallet here, most likely no teammate nearby anywhere, but Sam is gonna be able to get that second Devour Hope stack as well. If the Swives go for the unhook here, unfortunately will not be able to blink down and get the grab, but the hit onto Laser will come through nonetheless.
Yeah, we've at least at this point have 2 fresh hooks trying to get the connection onto the backside of the Lori. Not going to be the case here. We do also see that unhook did come in relatively quick here. As you had mentioned, we do have that second stage, our second stack of the Devour Hope. We now have a 3rd survivor now on the ground. Doesn't even worry about if there's a survivor in the area. Just quickly goes for the pickup. We actually see the heal getting done across the way as we speak. That does mean less survivors that are working on a gen. This could be big because right now we wait a minute, though. We do see that the ace happens to be close by. We also happen to see the broken status that is going to rob our killer here of one of our stacks. This is big, and I think actually we're going to be leaving. Oh, actually left the totem turned around. Does happen to find the ace. Not sure if the ace happens to know that they found him. Yeah, actually going to go ahead and just start gumping it over here towards our 11 position, just trying to build as much distance as possible.
Sem has so much pressure here at the top side of the map here with 3 stages already having come through, and Sem also does have at least one of the totems at the top of the map here, but the survivors so far have not gone for the cleanse, which is going to backfire tremendously if Sem does end up keeping the totems here and keeping that devour hope here. Very confusing movement here by Pale is going to throw Semi off track here and will be able to avoid some more blinks, and a very nice double back coming through by Pale will be able to avoid another down here, but Sem needs that down as soon as possible for the devour, which has been cleansed. So there goes that, and of course it's going to be the one that the survivors find first, but Semi is going to remain going to keep the ruin at least for now, and of course does still have that pentimento available. Oh, survivor fake the drop. Sem blinks ahead and is not going to be able to commit the chase onto our Julia. Gonna go for the same thing again. Magic with beautiful positioning, throwing Sem off guard over and over, tries to go for a third shot, drops this time. We're gonna see the best landing. Blumatic with absolutely beautiful play will be able to dodge 6 blinks here by Sem, trying so desperately to get the hit onto Lumatic, but just absolutely phenomenal movement and positioning by our Julia will be able to take all the pressure that Sem has built up away with just one play.
Yeah, the only unfortunate situation here, though, is that Ruin is still up, and I'm not sure how much our team has been able to get into those generators up. You'd mentioned that 4-gen that's still intact earlier up on that top side of the map here. It is also still the case, and we had that back and forth over here on the main building side, which makes me think, yeah, actually you see 2 people attacking 2 different gens up here, but both of them with very minimal pressure. So that does mean here, if Semsi happens to find either one of them and push them off that gen, it does start regressing at that 200% here, which is pretty big. However, we do see Semsi taking some time, hasn't been able to find anyone just quite yet. There's going to be the Ruin broken as well. We do see, though, there's the white outline around those totems, haven't quite yet decided to put up the pentimento. If I am being honest, if I'm Semsi, I think I'd throw one up while I'm over here in the corner.
Well, we're gonna hear the firecracker here, but not gonna be able not gonna be much value. Magic finally taking the hit. That is gonna be the hit that Sem has been craving for so long now. I also like how our nurse is not going for the pentimento just yet. Does not want to reveal it to the survivors, who are still most likely speculating on what Sem might be taking. But we are now going to have it revealed here. The first pentimento is gonna come through, and we still have a possibility for the pentimento totem in the corner of the map here. But our survivors have positioned on the main building generator. Extremely risky here, but our survivors must be extremely confident in their coordination here, where the survivors are giving enough time for our main building generator completion, which would be very important because it is located right in the middle of the fortune that Sem has access to here at the top of the map. But of course, with no ruin, that is, the generators are not going to regress much, and also our killer cannot waste much time looking for survivors in main building, so that generator is sooner or later going to leave the trial, and we are going to get the pentimento cleanse here before we even go for the unlucky. A very smart play by our survivors. Palette just over and over being able to avoid Sem's hits here in the open. Now, of course, also having access to the dead art here and not going down again here. Palette just doing phenomenally in all of these chases, just catching Sem off guard every single time and making him miss blink after blink.
Yeah, we see, I mean, honestly, still doing a great job. We've already got the reset across the way. It's going to allow our survivors to spread up, get that pressure across the gen. We know we have 2 gens at least a little bit past the 50%. Going to be seeing both of those getting relatively close. Here is the down, though, on the bottom side of the map. This will require at least one of those survivors that is up on the top side, going to have to rotate over. However, there is going to be generator number 3 getting complete. That's also going to be the generator that's up in mid. That's big. We also see this generator right here sitting at about 65% here. Laser even starting to rotate over, making sure that they're going to be kind of set up here for the save, as we do see that coming across. Of course, the nurse having that pressure, going to need to come across the map quickly, will allow for our survivor then in turn to be able to move in for this save. And you'll see still a decent couple of gens kind of close together. If I had to guess, Tempty's going to be coming over here. Oh, I thought was going to be going for that Pentimento. Honestly, must be feeling the pressure. You see, doesn't even take the time, even with the Nurse who can close that distance really quickly. Instead, quickly goes for the M1. That Survivor going to be rotating in the middle of the map. There's going to be generator number 4. Only one gen left. And of course, with the fact that our build has already been revealed to our survivors, they know that they don't have to worry about no way out. They know that they don't have to worry about any sort of no-ed. At this point, they just have to crush out this last gen and get as many stages out the door as possible.
And it's gonna be the dead hard player once again who is in chase, so Sam really should not be trying to go for this Survivor, as also going with a very risky playstyle. If you've paid close attention to the hook counter, every single Survivor has been hooked once, of course beside Pele, who has been hooked twice here. Gonna see a triple on the last generator. They're trying to push it out because they know there's no node available. Sam with, oh, we're gonna see a missed skill check here. It's gonna deny the pop for now. Our Survivors will have to will be forced to regroup here, maybe donating Sam another stack of another hook or two, but we're gonna see the Pentimento coming in as well as the dry kick, so the generator is going to regress a bit more, and Sam gets another window of opportunity to maybe claim another hook. But yeah, as I already said, Sam with a very risky playstyle on a map like Cold Tower, going for these individual stages and completely abandoning the idea of calling a Survivor out at the start to force a 3v1 and maybe have a bit of a more relaxed game. But Sam just keeping all 4 Survivors alive, going for individual stages. Should have probably gone for Grim Brace here. I'm talking about it, but it's gonna be very difficult and risky, especially against a team like RVRS, who are survivors that know exactly what's going on, as we can already tell with their positioning here. What we saw for Lamatic was being in main building earlier, and Pele always taking the killer as far away as possible from all the other survivors trying to work on generators.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting. One thing I couldn't help but notice is neither the Ace nor the Jill, yeah, I was gonna say, has got an agenda, and maybe they're trying to prioritize the generators. Nice dead hard here. There's gonna be the Pentimento cleansed as well. Right now, Semty's gonna be stuck in a tough situation because there's the elimination. This at least gets you a 3v1, although I think you might want to consider a slug here because you know that there's no way out. We've already got this door. There's 50% gonna be going on right there. I think we're gonna be looking at 3 survivors getting out the door with 2 stages each available, so that's some big points.
Yeah, and only the Survivor that would offer the least amount of points here is going to end up being the one sacrificed. So RVRS making the very smart decision of taking the 3-man out, with every Survivor having been hooked once, but that is going to be the 6 stages here, as Hatch also opens right in Semi's right here. Very difficult start here coming into the first set here, because 6 stages is something that you can quite easily outperform, I do have to say, if you are now on RVRS's side. And RVRS also having put up such a great fight so far, this is definitely going to be, no matter who's going to be playing the Nurse here, is going to be an opponent that you need to take very seriously, and 6 stages is going to be near impossible to lose against, I'd say, especially on a map as small as Cold Tower. It's going to be very tough, but anything is possible, as we did see with a beautiful comeback in the last set as well. So we are going to be back with the second game in our Nurse set right after a short break.
All right, let's take another trip on back into the fog here, and it's going to be for trial number 4. Going to be seeing Laser out on the Nurse here, currently looking at a score of 16-16, which, if we're being perfectly honest here, definitely does put a little bit of pressure here onto Dawn, but I think they are hoping to reverse that.
I'm looking at a very interesting generator on here right from the get-go. If my eyes didn't mistake me, this is either 4 or 5 gen here that Laser has available. Sam, very nice dodge here, and is also Laser, as I was talking about it before we were getting into the game here, we're gonna see the Sloppy and Thana combination. When you have so much available, you're going for the Sloppy and Thana, and Sam with beautiful flashlight play will be able to avoid Laser here twice by just narrowly. Laser going for extremely risky predictions. Sam is gonna be going into the inside side of the jungle gym as Laser blinks past it. Sam with such a long chase here right from the get-go, doing extremely well, will not be able to avoid this lunge this time. That is going to be the first down at 5 generators remaining, but 3 survivors remain unpressured, and we should see, yeah, we are going to see the double up on the generator right in the middle. This is going to be a crucial generator to get right out of the game, and getting it out of the game first is going to be so good for our survivors, as another generator is also at 90%. So far our survivors are doing phenomenally on the gen pressure here, as Sam is the only stage that has been granted to Laser now, but the Pop Goes the Weasel is unfortunately going to come through on one of these generators.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed the gens, right? You talked about that first gen here on Pride Rock being very big, and the fact that they needed to knock that one out. The gen that we did apply that pop to was the last one that you kind of considered in that like light 5 gen that we did have.
I think he does have one, yeah.
Side there.
Yeah,
so they did already attack one of those. If they get that one, then you're already done. Corrupt Intervention, of course, also off those gens on the top side. Maybe going to be seeing those starting to get attacked here. The only issue now, you've got Ace does have a tag there. You're gonna have 10% slowdown on the gens. You need somebody rotating over for the unhook here as well, especially because there's gonna be 2 blinks and a down. Right now, Laser on a mission. I think you might leave a slug here if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, going for the slug here and then blinking straight back to the hook is definitely the smarter choice, as Sammy is now going to hit second stage. Of course, once again, the hook count is only showing 1 because there's a bug currently, but it's definitely second stage. As you can see, Sam only has about 40 seconds left on that hook. So we are going to see the pick onto Towie now. Laser, however, not going for much individual pressure on our survivors, as we do have Sloppy, Butcher, and Thanatophobia. Our killer should be branching out here into more individual hooks. Very risky performance for play here by Crush, going straight in for the save here. They want the survivor out of this fortune here as quickly as possible. But we are going to donate the 3rd Thanatophobia stack, and our survivor, Laser with a very nice blink ahead of our survivor, will be able to body block. Towie is gonna get forced back, but has that unbreakable and decisive strike available, so he's just going to jump into the locker and deny Laser the down here. But no matter what Laser does in this situation, pick or slug, he's going to lose this here regardless, because Towie is the one that has the unbreakable and decisive strike. But instead, of course, just going for the better play here and picking up Crush once again, as this is now going to be the 4th stage of the game, with Sam being on 2nd stage, Towie being the first, and Crush being the 3rd one. So that is already going to be 4 stages. And to remind you of the previous game here, our killer Sammy was only able to get 6 stages throughout the game. So Laser looking in a very prominent position right now, only needs, I believe, 1 more down and camp that person. Yeah, 1 more down and camp that person to death, and that will already be the win for Team Reverse here with a 2-0 against Team Dawn.
Yeah, the one thing though we will notice, they did come in really quickly here for the save. Of course, that does mean, however, 1 less person working on the gen. You had talked about only needing to give away, I think you mentioned 1 more stage, or 2 is the most you could give up right here, and that would be to run things back. And we are going to be seeing the play here at the locker. There's going to be the ace coming out here. That's going to be the down at this point. On to Towie, back up onto the shoulder we go here. And you talked about, we are going to now at this point, that's hook state number 5. I know it shows less than that down there in the bottom left hand corner. We know what we're talking about here, Jet. Let them leave it to the pro, you know what I'm saying? The one thing that we do got to keep in mind, we are looking around, 1 generator was sitting around 65%. Other than that, I don't think we have any other gens past 1 piston pumping here. So Laser in so much control.
And I think the optimal outcome for Team Dawn here is if Towie is the one that gets tunneled out to death here, of course still having that decisive strike, but will also be forced to get some sort of value out of that balanced landing in order to avoid giving up too soon, and that is the sort that needs to be tunneled. But Laser has found the Kate here, forgiven, the only one who hasn't been hooked yet, but Laser is opting to go back to his generator cluster that he has still available around main building. So Laser has so many options right now, this might overflow our killer's train of thought here, but it's gonna be very difficult to make the decision in this situation, because you have so much to do, so many possibilities, so many ways to lose and win the game here. So it's gonna be very difficult on Laser's decision-making part. He needs to find the right play, and Towie is going to be the survivor that gets spotted, but decides not to go for chase, not to go for the aggressive play here. Decides not to force out that decisive strike, even though it still has the decisive strike and unbreakable available, but is unfortunately not going to get any value way out of it as Laser completely abandons the idea of chasing our ace here and will just remain on the top side, or on the main building side of the map here, being in a very nice position here with a somewhat forgen, and of course also still having Thanatophobia and Sloppy Butcher available, so it's just gonna make it so much more difficult on our survivors part here, playing it slowly because it's gonna take so long to get the heal, and Laser will have so much time to find the reset and interrupt it.
Yeah, I mean, we do see that our survivors were able to at least get this the reset in here, and the unfortunate thing is with that third gen that it got popped, it does kind of tighten in their gen spread just a little bit. You had mentioned the 3 gen that is still available here on the top side. Nice dead hard here to be able to avoid the swing, but the tough thing right now is you've got to play a darn near perfect game, or you need to make sure that in exchange for 1 hook state on Nia, you need 2 generators. Here's going to be the pickup. Do we have somebody maybe sit in the locker? Just imagine though. Not going to be the case though. This is going to be our 6th hook state, and we also we see someone already off in the distance over here. That does mean though that's 1 less person on a gen. This generator is sitting around. Oh no, that is the one survivor that had, I forgot, Semzi is the survivor that had the 2nd stage force, so that does mean this is a 3v1.
Yeah, and I really like Korsh's hiding spot there in the corner. Is gonna be able to get right back on that, but Laser only needs a single more hook stage and it would be the win for Reverse. And we are going to see Towie in chase with a player with balanced landing. Will only be able to proc off basement or the hill, but is not gonna be able to make it. And that is going to be the pick, the down onto Towie, the pick right after, and the hook right on the outside here. And that is going to spell out the victory for Team Reverse with a resounding 2-0 against Team Dawn here. A very nice performance. Will be able to get the 7th stage at 2 generators remaining, as we might have the 4th, the penultimate generator popping very soon by Korsh. But Laser with the right decision making is going to head straight over to the generator that Korsh is trying to pressure out, but will not be able to make it in time. The scratch marks are going to reveal our mech player, whoever does have access to the sprint burst, but instead is going to decide to hide in the tile, and Laser spots out their location. Firecracker to no avail. The down comes through on our American player Korsh, and that is going to be the slug onto Korsh. Tries to find Forgiven here. The case of trying to stealth, maybe get another generator or 2 done for some extra points, but it's looking like it's not going to happen. And we see, I believe, Forgiven only going to be the last one in chase. He still has that live available, but Laser will be able to blink straight on Arcade, and that is going to be a hit, and very soon going to be the down.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I mean, honestly, Laser just coming out here and having a show of dominance. I mean, you talk about from knowing exactly where to go after that last elimination, being able to find that survivor, quickly being able to get them down. And then even right on top of that, turning around and knowing exactly where to find Forgiven here as well. And you know, we had talked about both of these teams, even though the 0-1 didn't quite reflect as far as what they could bring to the table. I even think still in this case for Dawn, I mean, we had seen a very good, impressive set number 1 that looked like it was going to be in their favor. It just reversed, seemed to have the magic happening today, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, and we're gonna see now the last survivor getting put on the hook. Laser will be able to finish off strong with a 4K at 2 generators remaining, doubling the amount of stages that Sam was able to get in the previous game. So this is really nicely played by Laser, who opted to go with the Sloppy Butcher and Thanatophobia combination, and will be able to put enough pressure and time increasal that it takes for the resets here, which are going to end up resulting in the victory for Laser and Team Reverse, who are going to take it home with a 2-0 score, a flawless score now in the week 2 after Dawn, after we've seen last week where Team Reverse only dropped, did actually win a set against Team Soma as well, but Dawn so far unfortunately not being able to win a single set throughout the first 2 weeks, but there's still 8 more to come, so, or several more to come at least, so there's still going to be a lot happening, a lot of possibilities for either of these teams, or for either of these teams to recover and keep on pushing. But that is going to be the first win for the first day win for Team Reverse, and Dawn is unfortunately going to stay at 0. We are going to go we're going to continue with the second matchup of today, Modern Retro versus Golden Wolves, after a short break.
Hello everyone, and that was a great game, a great match we just watched, wouldn't you say? I mean, that was really fun. Anyway, we're getting into the interview. I'm Willie Awesome with the DBDLeague, and today I'm interviewing Laser. Say hello.
Hello, guys.
So, I have to say, one of the more impressive things was watching your nurse in that game we just finished up. How does someone get that good at nurse?
I'd be lying if I'd say that I was good, but considering everything, I think it's just a lot of practice and experience. And surprisingly, to me, playing Survivor side helps a lot.
I mean, it does make sense because like you gotta learn how to play. You gotta like learn how survivors play against the killer to learn how to counter that. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun. My next question is: this is your first win of the season. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. Last week we were pretty sad that we didn't win because we felt like we had the nurse victory in the bag, and then we obviously won the spirit set. But we kind of threw in the nurse game, so we're really down after that, and we're happy that we could come back this week.
I mean, comeback you did. Very clean 2-0 against Dawn. So, and I've got one last question for you. So you've already beat Soma, or you didn't beat Soma, you already played against Soma, and then you beat Dawn. What match are you looking forward to that's in your schedule for the rest of the season?
Looking forward to it. Where's the channel with all the teams? Rosters.
Yeah, you can check.
I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to Eternal because they're like the favorite to win it all, and playing against them and maybe getting a good matchup. It's definitely fun. I'm also looking forward personally to playing against Golden Wolves because lots of my friends from Cold Times are in there.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd say I'm looking forward to basically every game because I just want to play DBD, play tournaments, and see what we can do as a team.
That's a great ending point. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna get the next match set up: Golden Wolves Modern Retro versus Golden Wolves. Thank you again, Laser, for coming by and doing this interview.
Anytime.
And we will see you with the next match.